My brother's a cop. He became sheriff, which sounds impressive, but it's the sheriff of the small town I grew up in, so it was between him or a dog. And we found out a dog can't be mayor and sheriff, so that's... I am from a small town, incredibly small town. Like, I'm from such a small town, I moved to LA just long enough to learn to never chase a dream. It's 4 weeks, by the way. But I moved to LA, and the town, like, local paper found out about it, and then they wrote an article about it. Yeah, the title of the article was, "We Can Just Leave?" I do like my small town because it's, I love it so much because it's quaint. Like, small towns are great because they have nothing else to brag about, so they'll do what I call small town brags. So it's always either like, oh, we only had one stop sign in my whole town, or like, we all murdered that drifter and got away with it. We had 35 people in my graduating class, or my parents shared a parent, or whatever. You know? My personal small town brag is I went to prom at a truck stop. Yeah, it's less fun than it sounds, if I'll be honest. It's 100% true. I went to prom at Highway 34 truck stop and diner, and I hated it. I was like, why are we here? Was the Jiffy Lube booked? What's going on? What I hated is it pretended to be a prom. It still pretended. It was like, oh, we're going to do it, guys. We had a theme, which is fine. Proms have themes, right? Enchantment, Under the Sea, 1001, Arabian Nights. My prom's theme was Diesel Be the Memories. The year before was Unleaded Love. And the one before that was teen pregnancy. But, I hated it. It was not, it was bad. It was not great. Like, our dance floor was just like a big linoleum rollout that I'm pretty sure was for like yard checkers or something. Like, it was not good. Like, our videographer, horrible. He was just a big beard, AC/DC t-shirt, and I was like, ooh, we spared all the expenses. And then about halfway through the night, I see him getting escorted out by his elbow by the principal, and that's when I realized we didn't have a videographer. We just had a trucker with a camera and a dream. I will say the only upside to going to prom at a truck stop, the only upside, is if you didn't have a date, you could go run back and get one. Some people call them lot lizards. We call them prostitutes. And I'm here to tell you guys, she had some perks. She had some Percocets, and she was trying to sell them. So I love small towns. They're quaint. That's what I like about them. Like, I like hanging out at the bar. I'm from a small town, so it's the bar. It's only one. And I love eavesdropping. Like, I was sitting at the bar, and I just hear this one guy go, "What do you mean you wouldn't date Taylor Swift?" And I was like, I'm in. Player 3 has joined the game. And his buddy, without missing a beat, it was amazing. He goes, "What do you mean you wouldn't date T Swift?" Well, as you know, Taylor, she's a lady in the public eye, and as her partner, I too would be thrust into the limelight. And I don't think I could handle that kind of criticism, albeit due considering I'm not the best physical specimen. And yeah, I know I can go ahead and jog and eat right, lose a couple of pounds, but I don't think Taylor would want me to change for her, and I know I don't want her to change for me. And second of all, he said, second of all, second of all, she's a celebrity. She likes the finer things in life, like galas and balls and whatnot, and I'm a simple man. I like to kick back and relax after a hard day's work, have a couple of beers, watch the game. So I think that kind of differentiating lifestyle would actually put a wedge between us. Further apart, despite the fact that we started out as the best friends, having the best times and the best intentions. So no, I don't think I would date T Swift, because that seems like an act of inevitability and futility. I'm just kidding, guys. What he said was, tits are too small! I was at that bar at another time, and I was just sitting there hanging out, and I just hear this guy yell something. He just goes, I'm tired of these immigrants coming to our country and taking our jobs. And I was like, And then he goes, and not getting paid enough for it. I was like, what the f? He goes, minimum wage ain't a living wage. I can't even imagine how these hardworking fellers are having time doing it. And I was like, what? Is this a woke redneck? And it was. He was the best to listen to all night because he would just pop up and he'd be like, speak English. Now French. You don't have to know any Chinese, do you? I love multilingual people. You know, every time you learn a language, you're just building a bridge towards new friends. It was like Mr. Rogers in a cowboy hat. It was dope. Although at the end of the night, I'm paying my bill, getting ready to leave, and I thought he said one you just couldn't come back from. I just, like, there's no misconstruing. I thought he just goes, we need to make America great again. And I was like, by increasing the education budget, because as we all know, an educated populace brings society up as a whole. And I was like, yeah! I want to make that dude mayor, but the dog's doing a really good job. I love it now, but growing up, hated it. Hated being from a small town. So I'd escape with like sci-fi and fantasy. Like I love Star Wars. Huge fan of Star Wars. Like I've watched so much Star Wars, I have opinions about Star Wars, which means I've watched too much Star Wars. Like I hate in the original trilogy that scene when the guy's like, oh yeah, the only weakness is this 2-meter wide exhaust port. And another guy loses his mind, he's like, what? 2 meters? Oh, that's no bigger than Womp Rat! Ah! And then Luke Skywalker, our hero, is just like, oh yeah, I used to bullseye Womp Rats on my T-16 back on my uncle's farm. You know, no big deal. Like he's trying to slide into someone's DMs, you know? Because it sounds impressive. 2 meters sounds impressive. Until you realize 2 meters is 6 feet. That's a dumpster-sized animal, you guys. He's not bullseyeing anything. That is the equivalent of like one of my cousins driving around on a 4-wheeler just taking pot shots at cattle. That's all it is. Luke Skywalker, he's just a big old space hillbilly. That's it. Like he grew up on a farm. He doesn't like sand people. Hey, I didn't name him. Tweeted George Lucas. He's still alive. You know, he made out with his sister. He's even rooting for the side that lost the war 100 years ago. If that doesn't scream, the Force will rise again! I don't know what does, but maybe you ought to take that wheel, you know? Rescued some cats. A couple of years ago, I rescued some cats. Yeah, and I'm gonna keep saying I rescued these cats so everyone knows that I'm better than all these people out here stealing or downloading cats or whatever. I do a lot of work. I run a show, the Benefit of the Humane Society, so I'm around a lot of rescue animals. I love it. Like I love the name differences between dogs and cats. Because rescue dog names are always classic. Their classic names are like, this is Chuck, or Truck, or Rock. My cats' names were Mayor Cutie and Mrs. Peepers Esquire III. I changed that immediately. I named my cats Mom and Dad. Because I'm smart. I named my cats Mom and Dad because now I have an excuse whenever I need one. You know, one of my friends like, hey man, can you help me move this weekend? And I'm like, oh, this weekend? No, can't do. I'm hanging out with Mom and Dad all weekend. How was Christmas? Christmas was good. Got Dad a laser pointer. He's going nuts. It did backfire one time though. I was in a bad mood. My buddy's like, Tyson, what's wrong? And I was just like, ugh. Mom's not eating that cat food I bought her. Not buying her anything else till she finishes it. I'm not made of money.